Welcome back and thanks for checking in. My name is Dan, playing as Aries Above, and of course, and per usual, I'm working alongside my good friend Danny, aka Zal. How we feeling, my friend?
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Happy to be here, enjoying our small break here. Teacher life, getting 2 weeks off. Happy holidays to everyone out there. Hope you're having a good time.
It's always so good. Although we didn't receive any new subscriptions, dude, we did hit 50 views. I think that
That's
that's pretty cool.
amazing. That's so good. That's more views than I've ever seen for any of my content. So there you
Well,
go.
big shout out to all those who took the time to check in,
Yeah.
but let's get after it. So, number one, right? So, kind of the overview of today, our focus this week is we decided to say, all right, if we had to force ourselves to play a monocolored commander, who would we play and why? And then also start talking about some monocolored commanders in general and maybe why we were pulled to that type of play style overall. I got one question for Danny that I want him to answer. It's about MTG sleeves. MTG Arena sleeves. I want him to go on the record for what he thinks about them and what their role is, and I'll give mine as well. I'm also going to pick his brain about like control aggro strategies, why we think maybe we were drawn to those strategies in the kind of when we started to think about what our play styles were and what cards we wanted to purchase and invest in. We'll definitely play a ton of brawl and get after it. We'll play our deck techs as well, kind of to let you cruise through our decks and our thinking behind all of them. And then, of course, we'll give you some love at the end and we'll appreciate you for hanging out. And then we'll see you next week. But let's get after it. So, Danny, I need to know MTG Arena sleeves. Are they pinkies up or are they what's up, dude? Tell me, what do you think? Are they necessary or are they totally a waste of money grab? Where are you at on it?
Dude, so I don't have any sleeves. I didn't even change my avatar from like the beginning when I opened Arena up. Like I didn't bother to like get into any of that stuff. That's not to say that they're not cool. Like I've seen some cool sleeves. Obviously, like people do like to deck out their decks and stuff like that. And sleeves is a cool way to customize yourself, especially in this format where you don't really get to see your opponent, right? You're not you don't really get to understand them, who it is that you're playing against. So like the sleeves does say a lot. So I think because of that, I actively don't sleeve up my deck because like I don't want to give not to overthink it. Like I don't want to give my opponent any information. I don't want them to know what kind of person I am, what they're playing up against, nothing like that. Like you always, if you see the person, with a Nicol Bolas avatar, you kind of already get a feel for like what they're gonna be doing, right? If you get a person with the sleeves that have a certain faction or certain guild, you're like, okay, well then they're obviously some kind of control player. Um, Maybe they're not necessarily playing a control deck, but they probably have a control mindset. So that already gives you information, that you can use against your opponent. I don't like to do any of that. Also, I don't necessarily want to dish out the cash for like sleeves. If I'm gonna spend on Magic. Not so much, that stuff. I don't know. That's my take on it. I'm probably overthinking it way too much, but yeah. What do you think?
I really liked your viewpoint about it is a way to express yourself and in a kind of a place where it's hard to express kind of your individual play style. It's kind of one more way to do that. I think that's pretty insightful. I too, right? I have Jace as my avatar,
Yes,
and I have my like the magic sleeves. Now, if you were to play me in person, I always sleeve up my
of
cards, so
course.
you would never see the brown Magic the Gathering.
Right,
If you were to play me one on one ever,
right.
I'm always throwing those in sleeves and like playing like that. I mean, honestly, because I think that playing with decks with cards in sleeves actually creates this like new element of like, okay, we're not playing poker anymore. We're not playing
Right,
that. We're actually playing strategy games that require me to look at my cards a lot, shuffle them, put them in different orders, etc.
right.
That I think is super important. Like the tactile part of the game is actually, I think, one of the things that drew me in a weird way that helped me as kind of somebody who's kind of spacey, like focus in on a game, right? Like I got to play with the cards. I can shuffle them up. I could line up the synergies in different ways, either by converted mana cost or kind of how I think they might play together. So I do think that like the sleeves in real life are important, like very important, especially too when we always talk about how to get people integrated into the game. I think that if someone's never played card games without card sleeves, they haven't really played card games before. I'm not kidding, dude. I swear. Like it's a totally different feel. It feels very hella slick, hella smooth, like very professional. And I think that that adds like a almost like a level of seriousness that is super important. I mean, people talk about how do you shuffle, how do you hold your cards, etc. It almost is a way of giving information too, like at that next level.
Absolutely.
Like what you're doing with your cards gives away what you have like in the tank,
Oh yeah.
what you have coming up next. Like I think all that stuff is really interesting, but I'm kind of skirting around the question because we're not talking about real life. We're talking about arena. And no,
Yes.
I don't think that sleeves are necessary at all. I don't think that the avatars are necessary at all. I think it's an absolute money grab. But I'm going to acknowledge here, dude, that this is like a generational difference. Because I've always been confused about how games like Fortnite have been able to flourish. But when I talk to my students in high school, like my high school students when I taught a few years back, they would say, oh, we were all about the skins.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
thinking back, like, wait, I grew up with Call of Duty, that kind of playing and tag. We were never concerned about skins because we buy the disc, put it in, and we play. And we were never concerned about skins because everyone always looked the same. But now I feel like that way of expression is actually like looked at more as like real. I think that's actually like a generational difference because I do not look into people at all when I'm in a 2D space. That's different than the 3D space. And I don't know. I think it's a generational thing. And Wizards, they're never going to get my money to get me to express myself in the 2D space.
Absolutely. The last shooter game that I played was Star Wars Battlefront 2. Shout out to anyone still playing that game. There's a new private server that came out called Kyber. I don't know anything about it, but I'm gonna look into it for any PC players. Anyways, like you're a stormtrooper, so like you all look the same. Like there's no customization there. Maybe you're like a slightly like a red one or a black one or whatever, but like you're still like looking very much similar. But yeah, it is definitely about like the selling of personality, personalization, identity. People grab onto that. We latch onto that. Like if we see an opportunity to be an individual in a game that we like we're gonna gravitate towards it. By we, I mean like just in general. And kids, younger folk, absolutely. Right, that is a more fun way to just express yourself. Team Fortress 2 was a game that I played a lot, and like a lot of the things that you'd be able to purchase weren't things that would affect the game, but it would just be things that would make you look different. Like hat on top of a hat on top of a hat. Because why not? Because it's funny and like you're that is part of like who you are as a person, and that says a little bit about you. Same when it comes to arena, right? You're trying to express yourself through a mode that doesn't necessarily allow you to necessarily express yourself, or does it? Because I feel like it does, like through Magic itself, like the decks that you play. Right, that says way more about who you are than I think a sleeves or an avatar ever will. It's like your play style, the decks that you're choosing to play. I think that is how we, maybe like you and me, are like identifying ourselves and like showing who we are. We don't really need the flashy things. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it is a money grab. It is a money grab for sure. So if we're gonna spend, right, we're gonna spend on the things that'll help us win, and the sleeves do not help us win. And also, they don't protect cards because they're digital, right? In real life, it makes sense because you're trying to protect your investment, your cards, but none of that is necessary in arena. So yeah.
All right, I'm going to push it one more step because now you got me thinking about, okay, so the role of flair is that personalization. So the reason why in Star Wars I didn't have to worry about it is because all the stormtroopers looking the exact same is kind of part of the lore of the story.
Right.
And so when I die in the game, so if I'm from my POV, if I see somebody, a character, fall to the ground, I see a stormtrooper pass away. I don't necessarily trigger, maybe I see their screen name, but I don't see them who actually, whatever, failed the mission.
Right.
I just know that person's down. And so I'm thinking they're hacking. So you got me thinking about, okay, holy cow, this is actually a way to express yourself so that when that person accomplishes something in that space, or, whatever, maybe makes a sick play or does actually not accomplish what they set out to do, it's almost like now I can blame them because I saw them. That's that person with the green flare, pass away. I could actually see that happen, and I could register as that person
Yeah.
that did that. I'm telling you, man, that's a cultural thing. I don't tie like individual people to their skills inside of a video game, but I'm realizing that people absolutely do. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
why they've been able to get so much money out of this, because people's true identities, it's not even a game anymore. It is their
It
identity
is.
that is being represented to this task. And I'm going to bet this much that I can do it. And I'm going to look like this doing
Yeah.
it. And so it's almost like, oh my gosh, they're getting this money off of this like ego grab. Am I getting it? Oh.
Absolutely, absolutely. You just made me think of my time as a World of Warcraft player, and like, back when I first started, there were I think like 8 races in total, so like everyone looked the same. Like everyone, it doesn't matter like, what gear you had, because back in the day, like everyone's gear looked the same as well. And if you're trying to max your character out, there's a certain max level of armor and weapons that you would end up with. So like late game, everyone looked the same. There was no variety there. So eventually they started to introduce ways of like color customizing your armor and completely called transmogrifying, which is where you could take your current gear and swap it out for the look of an older style gear. So they started to give people an opportunity to, you can still have the most up to date gear, but have it look like old school gear, or just have it look like anything else. So completely just starting to customize your character beyond it. I feel like at some point, like the gaming industry, like realized the potential behind this, and they just started doing it, and you just started seeing it happen everywhere, from World of Warcraft to Call of Duty to Star Wars, later on, and other things like that, to now Magic, where you have avatars and personalized sleeves. It's just
Remember the golden gun in Call of Duty 4? Like the golden gun, like the gold. If you got the golden skin.
so I never played Call of Duty 4, or the last Call of Duty I ever played was 2. That was a long. What was that,
Okay.
PlayStation, I think, or something? The only golden gun that I haven't referenced is GoldenEye from N64.
Yeah.
That's the only golden gun I know you're talking about. So,
Well, I guess like the skin represented like an achievement. If you got
mm-hmm.
so many headshots,
Yeah.
that means you got that
Right.
gun's skin.
Right.
And you couldn't purchase it. Just meant like, wow, that person's either spent a lot of time with
Yeah.
that gun, or they're really good with it. And I think that's what like a skin should have represented,
Right.
or at least that's kind of where I grew up in, is like you earn this skin because you hit this level. But that's not it at all. It's you buy this look because you want to portray this view,
Right.
because you play this is who I am in the 3D space. So I'm really trying to unpack it, and it's making more sense. So I'm going to push myself even further, Danny. If Arena went to 4-player commander, would you be more enticed to buy sleeves and an avatar to express yourself in a 4-player setting?
That's a good.
I'm thinking to myself, I might at that point, because if it's like, ooh, this is me doing this cool thing,
Yeah.
or this is me going off, like here are my avatars are ways to do. I don't know. I think I got to think on that more.
So for me, not on arena, because again, I'm thinking practically speaking, like in real life with actual physical cards. An aspect of sleeves on cards is to protect your cards, but also to differentiate them from other players. Because you're literally sitting next to people, around people. You don't want your cards to get mixed up. You want them to look different, so you have different colored sleeves and things like that. On arena, that's not a concern either. Like you'll be able to tell what side of the battlefield is yours, because you're, based on the point of view of you playing, you're not gonna see other people's cards and stuff like that. So like, I don't think I don't think it would entice me further, to be honest. What I would do, which is what I was thinking of, I was watching some of the championship games, and a while ago I noticed that sometimes they put the photo of the person where the avatar is supposed to be. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, I wonder how many people would jump on that if that was an ability, and if that was something that we'd be able to do. I would probably do that. I would put up a photo of myself. doing like a cool like just having my arms crossed and looking real serious or whatever. Like that is something I would do. So I'm wondering if Wizards has even considered that as a possibility. Um, you know, keep the avatars as a default, but like you can still like plop on your own photo. I think that'd be more fun to like know who it is I'm playing against. I don't know. I don't know. It's just me, but yeah.
Building Arena out as a social media platform.
Whoa. That's
That's what you're saying.
that. I
That's
mean,
exactly what you're saying. Where
that is probably what it
my
would become.
accomplishments
Yeah.
in this space, here's me doing it. I want to talk to the people in my community. I want to log in to find those people. Don't make me go to Reddit. Don't make me go to Discord. Let me log into this one browser where all my people already are,
Huh.
and let me go ahead and like see them actually what they actually look like or how they want to be portrayed. But I don't know, Danny. I think that once again it's a generational thing about portraying your actual self in the 2D space. I would wonder if we asked people 10 years younger than us, hey, would you want a picture of yourself to represent your gameplay? Yes or no, or an avatar? I don't know.
That's tough.
I think it would be really, really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm with you. If I could put a big goofy smile like I had in all of my pictures, like my staff ID pictures, because that's like, yeah, I'm this happy person.
Yeah.
But I am really aggressive, and that's going to be a good transition into our next topic. Like, I am really happy, but I'm also very practical, and I want to get to it, and I want to get after
Right.
it. And that's why I'm gonna have a smile on my face, but I'm playing red, right? I'm gonna be playing burn, and you're gonna be like, "What the heck? I thought this person was a jokester." No, I'm very practical, and I want to get after it. And that, I think that that's actually you got me really thinking about because that question is, and Wizards' answer to that, I'm assuming, is there money there, and is the investment that I put into building that out going to, you know, create some type of return that's obviously greater than that initial investment. And I don't know, Danny. I think that's really, really, really interesting and potentially
I
there.
think it's worth exploring it at the very least. Like I don't know what they're doing in terms of like betas and just things that are off public access, but I'm thinking of like my students if they would be comfortable doing something like that, and come to think of it, probably not. I'm thinking to when we had to teach virtually, right? When we're all in quarantine and we were all on a computer screen through Zoom, through whatever. Most of my students did not have their cameras on. Granted, I made it optional. Like they could have, I just wanted them to feel comfortable, so like I didn't make it a requirement. And with that said, when given the option, most of them didn't. Like they didn't want to be seen. They didn't want their faces. Um, some of them, some of them did have photos of themselves. Some of them just had photos of random things like anime characters that they liked and whatnot. So I think it's hard to say, but I think it's worth exploring because yeah, I didn't even think of it as a means to social media, but like this kind of magic world that's built with people, like real people that you actually get to like see and interact with. Um, I think it's worth exploring. So Wizards, hopefully they're looking into it or something, because I know that a lot of the grief that arena players have is the lack of community, like the lack of support for communities. Like the friends list is it's there, but it could be better. Like we struggle with it, even you and me, when we're trying to like engage with each other. Like it's not the most refined thing that it could be, even though there's so many examples out there of what it can be. So it's like they shouldn't be feeling like they're trying to reinvent the wheel here. Like there's so many things that they can pull from that already exists and just incorporate that into arena, to make it a lot better than what it is, I think, in terms of the community aspect, that is. But yeah, let's explore it. That'd be fun. I'd try it.
Zal, as always, thanks for giving us, man, just big things to think about. We're going to take a break before we hop into why control, why aggro. And remember, if you kind of stick around, we're going to review our decks, and then we'll be playing some games. We'll see you guys in a second. Hey, welcome back. And so really, Danny, let's get after it. Why are you a control player?
I like to control people. I mean, at its core. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. So it has a lot to do with alternate win conditions. I feel a lot of my decks. I was reflecting on what decks I have in arena in real life, and a lot of it is I like to win in ways that aren't through combat. To be honest, like combat is one of the fundamental mechanics of Magic. It's getting your opponent down to zero, but I find other ways of winning, alternate win conditions, to be more engaging, more interactive. So because of that, I think it just lends itself to have to be more of a control-y player, because I gotta stay alive long enough to do the dumb janky thing I'm trying to do. You know, respect to the aggro players. You know what's up. You know what's coming. You don't want to stick around too long because you gotta get them dead before they combo off. So on my end, like I'm just trying to stay alive, and because of that, it's not so much like necessarily like countering people's stuff, but just having answers, having interaction. I think as a control player, you have to interact more with what's happening. As an aggro player, you're kind of just slamming things down and just turning sideways and going in, and fingers crossed it makes it comes through. So yeah, what do you think?
I think that, and we talk a lot about, Danny, I think one of the things that I really enjoy talking to you about is because you acknowledge that there is an emotional component of the game. When people lose in this game, they get upset. And there is like, or at least like when you first start playing, like you need to get over the fact that control players aren't just there to ruin your life.
Right.
They're actually there because they want to do things that align with their personality. For example, I love drawing cards, but I also see it sometimes as superfluous. Like, why are we wasting all these times tapping all this stuff, draw five? It's like, I want to just smash your face, say I won, shuffle up, and play again. Now, that's my personality. And I think it took me a while to recognize that people aren't playing Magic to ruin my life, right? They're playing Magic to have fun. And the way that I have fun, personally, is to look at a system and think, what's the fastest way A to B?
Yeah.
Fastest way A to B. Now this aligns in my professional life as somebody who focuses a lot on school improvement, is I look at what I have available in terms of teacher skills and strengths within my staff and think about in 5 years, what's the fastest way A to B we can improve. And I really think that aggro strategies, when I draw my 7 with my mono red deck in Modern, I can look at my deck and have a great time. What's my fastest way A to B? I can go from 20 life to 0 life. And that's why I hate life gain strategies, because it just screws up my entire game plan, like entirely. It's like, oh no, I didn't see that.
I think everyone hates life gain strategy because it just prolongs the game. It's like it doesn't feel like it's trying to win. It's just like, so I feel you on that one. But that makes sense. I was gonna say, like, because like through your professional aspect, also as a mathematician, as someone who
Yes.
is very linear with their thinking, with their just very intentional about the things that you do, it makes sense to me to be an aggro player, why that is more of an affinity for you. And I respect it. And it's true. I understand that like there's a lot of salt that can come with playing a control player, because at times it can be viewed like, oh, this person is just trying not to let you play Magic. But it's like, no, well, that is Magic though. Like that is the game. Like you trying to do things, someone having a response to that, that is Magic.
Yes.
So you need to come into it understanding that that is an element of the game. Now, does that mean I don't necessarily feel salty whenever I get my stuff countered? Absolutely not. I absolutely get salty about it, and I'm just like, ugh, because it's a taste of my own medicine. But that's where it ends. Like you don't escalate it, you don't push it further, you don't
Yes.
flip the table over and whatever. Like it's just that is the game. Like would I have loved to have seen this awesome combo, fill itself out right now? Yes. Oh well, I'll try again later, kind of thing. But yeah, no, like I think they're two very dynamic but essential aspects of playstyles in the game. Like I feel like if everyone was an aggro player, I don't know, like that would just be
It would stink.
I don't think it'd be as fun. Same as if everyone's a control player. Like whenever I sit down at a game of Commander, if there's 3 people playing blue, I'm just like, well, I know this is gonna be at least a 3-hour game.
Text all your people that you have relationships with. I can't.
Yes, yes. So, like, you need a balance, and it's a balance. It needs to balance itself out, and I think that's how it happens in Magic. But yeah, Good
I
question.
think I need
Yeah.
to be honest. I don't want to speak for all the aggro players out there, but I'm going to be just incredibly honest with you right now.
Sure.
I don't feel confident dealing with intensive board states with a lot of resources. I don't feel confident I'm going to make the best decision with so
Mm,
much going on. And
mm-hmm.
so I want to avoid that situation where I will lose because of my choices. And
Okay.
I think that I needed to recognize that and acknowledge that says, well, look, my strength as a card player is looking at my instant resources and thinking, okay, what's the fastest way I can win?
Sure.
Not waiting until the mid to end game. Okay, my opponent has deployed all their resources. I've deployed all mine. Now I need to. How can I circumvent this? If I'm honest, I'm just not confident. Where some people are like, bring it on. Like, yes, I'll draw cards. You draw cards. I promise I'll figure this out and circumvent this
Yes.
faster than you will. And I don't feel confident there. And part of me thinks you absolutely do, Danny.
So I that's exactly the kind of games that I like when there's just like when you're reaching a point where like you're just wow, there should really be a board wipe because this is just too much stuff. Um, but for me, like those are the more fun games, and yeah, it can be overwhelming when there's a lot of things happening just on your side of the board. And I mean, we'll see how our games turn out today because the deck that I'm playing tends to do that. But I understand where you're coming from. Like just being able to keep track of all your triggers, the things that are affecting the board states, remembering what you have out, remembering what your opponent has out. That's a lot to take into consideration before you know, make your action. Before you even play the right land, like you gotta make sure, like maybe I'm not gonna play my land yet because I gotta know what color mana I'm gonna need first, kind of thing. So yeah, you have to, you know, when you're a control player, you do have to kind of think, you know, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead now,
Mm-hmm.
and I like doing that. With that said, I am confident in doing it, but I'm not good at it. Not all the time. I mess up a lot. I mess up a lot. There's a lot of games where, you know, the games that I lost, I'm able to reflect on and be like, um, pinpoint the moment in which the choice that I made is what lost it for me. So to me, that's just like a learning experience. Like, okay, next go around, next game, when something like this is happening, just remember this so that I don't repeat that process again or repeat that mistake again. Um, but for me, that's what I enjoy about the game. I'm always learning something new. Always learning something new when it comes to Magic, which I don't feel I can do with aggro. You know, sorry. Yeah.
Well, I'll show you some time. I'll show you some new different aggro strategies, maybe.
Okay.
But there's not many. You're right. There really isn't many, especially in Commander and Brawl. I mean, but actually, I don't know. And I think we need to explore that topic further because that 25 life is really interesting. You know, I played this deck earlier this week where they just curved out and I lost. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, maybe just these curve out strategies, it was Selesnya, curve out
Mm,
strategies are just absolute. They might be very, very, very effective.
yeah.
But overall, though, I respect control players like yourself. I respect mid-range players. You know, I respect aggro players. But most importantly, you know, we need to respect each other in our choices in exploring the game.
Absolutely.
And regardless of what path we chose to try to win, we have to try to have fun and acknowledge that, okay, when, like for me, if there's an advanced board state, I'm not going to be able to be as cool with everybody because I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, I'm going to miss my stuff and I'm going to lose. But I need to acknowledge that that's an area of weakness and actually maybe even ask for help,
Sure.
right? And I think that, you know, aggro players talk to control players about how they're more patient. Like how are you able to be so patient with all this stuff going on? And I think like you said, there's so many life takeaways from this amazing game that I really enjoy kind of exploring it with you and figuring out what are those takeaways. And for me it's, you know, really acknowledge my weaknesses and enjoy my strengths, right? And not feel bad for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Full on respect to all different play styles. Aggro players, I mean, without them, the game wouldn't end, right? So there you go. I appreciate that. Just added at the bottom line there. For sure, for sure, yes.
Well, hey, that's going to be a good place to wrap us up with our control and aggro question. We're going to go ahead and dive into our deck tech. First, you'll hear from me about what decks I'm bringing to the game. Then you'll hear from Zal, and then we'll see you in the games. See you guys soon.
See you soon.
I'm going to throw a few different flavors at Danny, but I'm going to lead with Gideon of the Trials in an attempt to throw some mono white taxes at him, as I know that he'll probably throw some big haymaking spells right at me. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see. If that doesn't work, we're going to switch over to Vivian, Champion of the Wilds, and assuming I can get a creature early, I'll be, if I build my deck right, that +1 of Vivian's becomes pretty nice. Until end of turn, I can give it reach and vigilance. That way, those pesky flyers can't get in and get Vivian down and out of play. And as long as Vivian stays in, I can cast creatures at flash, making it a very versatile green spell. And those control players have to react in their turn. And that's always very nice. And if all else fails, I'll probably go back to Clothis and see how that works against them. See y'all in the games.
Greetings everyone, Zao here, coming at you again with a brand new deck for our Historic Brawl video showcase today. Today I'm going to be running Mono White Brawl Tifax with Oswald Fiddlebender at the head of the deck. Those of us not familiar, he is a 2/2 legendary gnome artificer for 1 and a white. He has a magical tinkering ability, so for 1 white and tap, I can sack an artifact, search for my library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1 plus the CMC of the artifact that I sacked. And it just places it out onto the battlefield. Key note here is that I can only do that at sorcery speed, so that's something that needs to be considered in the long plan of this deck. Overall, I've gotten a couple games in, and it tends to ramp out pretty quick, getting climbing that ladder of CMC, just working my way up towards the bigger artifact spells. Some big hitters in the deck that really help things move along is Paradox Engine, of course. So every time I cast a spell, I get to untap my non-land permanent, so that includes Oswald himself. I have Panharmonicon, so whenever my artifacts that have enter the battlefield effects come in, that'll be happening twice, so twice the value there as well. Definitely, let's see, we also have quite a few mana rocks to just be able to immediately get things out and then immediately sack them for bigger things. Some control elements, some removal, Cavalier of Dawn, Elspeth Conquers Death, a couple of board wipes, just in case my opponent is going a little too fast for what we're trying to do, we can slow them back down. Let's see, we also have a Immortal Sun, which is it's been a great way to shut down some planeswalkers. A lot of people don't see that one coming from a mono white deck, so it just immediately slams down and just shuts everything down on my opponent's board. It's happened quite a few games, and it's always great to see, very satisfying. And some major win conditions. Aether, Flux, Reservoir, so whenever I cast a spell, I gain 1 life for each spell that I've cast this turn. So with artifacts that have been reduced by 1 or 2 generic mana, I'm able to just crank them out, gain a bunch of life, constantly untap with Paradox Engine, and just keep the train going to eventually zap my opponents in the face. Some backup win conditions: Ulamog, Ceaseless Hunger. He's a 10/10 indestructible on cast, exile 2 things, on attack, exile 20 cards from my opponent's library. Do run 1 planeswalker, which is Ugin Ineffable. He does make my colorless spells cost 2 less, which obviously comes in handy with artifacts. And overall, just a couple more control elements just to keep threats off the board, get more value, and eventually get to those win conditions. So hopefully today you get to see what it does, and yeah, let's have some fun. Alright, game 1, here we go.
Ooh, I got an interesting keep.
I'm gonna take a free mulligan on this one. This is better.
Oh, I'm gonna keep this.
Okay.
We'll see how this goes.
Let's go. This and pass. Who we playing? Oh, we got 2 mono white decks. Hilarious.
Oh no, Oswald Fiddlebender. I'm playing the taxes, mono white taxes build.
Oh damn. Okay.
Oh, I played. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Some alchemy going on here. Captain Eberhard, spells from among cards you drew this turn cost 1 less to cast. Spells cast from one card your opponent's draw cost 1 more to cast.
Man, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Let's do this. Yeah. Gain your life. Let's get rid of this.
Treasure token. Ooh, okay, Danny, I see you.
Doing stuff.
I see you.
And pass.
Let's get in.
Oh, it's a double striker. That's a pretty strong card.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that. Double strike. That's a great card right here, Mentor the Meek.
Underrated.
Dude, and to talk about the power creep too, Mentor the Meek I think used to be in modern builds.
I could see that. Let's check that out.
Ooh, I like that, Danny. I like that.
Bit of ramp, bit of card draw.
I like that.
Let's keep it going. There you go.
Something tells me you got something fussy happening over here.
Let's see. Sure.
Get this board wipe out of your hand.
How'd you know?
Oh, damn, playing you.
That's fine. That's fine.
1, 2, 3, 4, and that's not even really getting rid of it, right? My goodness.
It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And this perpetually gives it. Okay, so this only the Captain Eberhard only applies to this turn.
So the card that you drew that turn, yeah.
I like that. Okay, so you sack Solemn to draw a card.
To draw a
and
card.
Search your library for an artifact equal 1 plus the sacrifice mana value. So this should be 5. Wow,
Yeah.
Danny, I like this. Ooh! Oh no. Oh, praise the word. Paradox Engine. Sky Scanner. I like this.
One of the perks of playing Brawl
Draws a
and
card.
not actual Commander, because this card got banned in Commander.
Oswald?
Paradox Engine. Paradox Engine. Yeah.
And so for those who don't know what Paradox Engine does, whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. I think that's, pretty self-explanatory, pretty good.
Okay.
Especially if cards have affinity for artifacts, or Danny can create a board state where, his artifacts can tap for mana. Oh, man. Leave me alone. My goodness. Going off. Beautiful. Portable hole. Say adios.
Let's take your life gainer away. Because eventually that's going to get out of hand. Alright. I'm good here. I'll pass it over to you.
He says he's good here. Oh, goodness gracious. I need to hit my land drop. Johnny's pride mate.
Oh, I'm glad I got rid of your life linker. Or your life gainer.
Ooh, I missed the trigger too. Whoops.
Oh, okay.
That's alright, that's alright. Here we go.
I think I'm gonna take that.
I love your card draw. Man, even he gets card draw in mono white. He manufactures card draw in mono white. Of course. Immortal Sun, man, that is a good card.
It's
I got-
so good. Please don't get rid of it. Get rid of this guy. Let's bring in.
Just. I like this, Danny. I like this. Okay. Oh. Little storm.
Little storming.
Okay, get some ramp. Very nice. So you're going to sack Oswald Fiddlebender again, and every time you're just getting 1+, right? So every time 1+.
Yeah.
And so it's effectively card draw. It's card advantage. It's mana advantage. Okay, so your casting god's willing to kind of continue to storm off.
Yeah.
Plays white, keeps it on top.
Let's go ahead and get rid of this. I think at this point we're okay if this goes away.
Danny, what's untapping Oswald?
So it is the Paradox engine. Whenever I'm casting a spell, it untaps my non-land permanents, including
okay.
Oswald. Yep.
So you can Oswald Fiddlebender tap sack something, get something else.
Pull it out of the deck. That's 1 CMC higher than what I sack. Every time I cast something, it untaps my non-land permanents. My spells cost 1 less thanks to the Immortal Sun. And Mystic Forge lets me look at the top card of my library and cast artifact spells from the top. So I'm going to do that right now.
And so you actually have a card, you have an additional card draw, which is the top of your deck.
Top of the deck, yep.
Okay, so you didn't like that, so you kind of scry that away.
Scry that
All right,
away.
I like that.
So now I got Esper Sentinel out. So if you whenever you cast your first non-creature spell, you'll have to pay 2 or I draw a card.
I guess we don't really care.
Okay. Let's.
I guess.
I'll take it.
I mean, I guess I need to try to win. I don't know. This Aether Flux Reservoir, I remember the first time I played Pioneer. I played an Aether Flux Reservoir deck, and I learned about kind of Storm and that fun combo. Aether Flux Reservoir and Paradox Engine combined. Ooh, jeez.
Nettle Cyst. Let's put it on this Esper Sentinel. Every time
why not?
Yeah, if you cast a non-creature spell, you gotta pay 14 or I draw a card. Let's come in for some damage.
No blocks. You gonna blow everything up? Come on.
Nah, I like what I have. I'm getting life. I'm good.
Gaining life each turn.
Get a-
Chaos Wand. That's another funky one, but fun one.
It's so good. Against the control players playing blue. Because I can use their own counter spells against them, which has been pretty sweet so far.
So I'm not gonna be able to attack on the ground. Draw a card. Seven in the air.
Yeah.
A 2/9. End the turn. Draw a card. Draws 2 every turn, gaining some life. Sure. Having a good time over there. Draws a plains, plays a plains. Oh, kills everything. Sure. This Esper Sentinel included. Okay. And gaining some life.
I think we needed that.
Plays the Fiddlebender one more time.
Yeah, I think we're good. Oh, let's see what that does. Nice.
So this will give me like effectively some card draw.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I considered putting that in this deck.
With
This guy is
and then
back.
so this Distracting Geist has been an interesting like aggro card. I've been having some hard times getting through with this deck.
Interesting.
This lets me kind of like tap down their best card when I attack, but we'll see. I'm feeling a little behind here with your artifact board presence. But I also know I'm kind of feeling if I can keep Oswald kind of out of the picture. Oh man, nah. Mystic Forge showing its strength, I think, here.
It's
Because you can untap it
Yeah.
every time you cast with Paradox Engine. So
Correct.
effectively, you're just.
I'm just cycling.
What's
through the
that
top of
card? What's the card that was banned that did that in Commander?
it.
Divine Top? Sensei's Divining Top?
So that card is. I know what you're talking about. The card is still active. It's not banned.
Okay, that's not banned.
It's not
Okay,
banned,
okay.
But it essentially does the same thing. Yeah, for artifacts. So I did just remember my only planeswalker casted a bit of a nombo with my Immortal Sun, but I mean
Ooh, shut that down.
I know,
sure.
I know, yeah. But the real reason is just to make my artifacts cheap, anyways. So it's fine.
Okay, so the static, which says the
Yeah.
colorless spells you cast cost 2 less to cast.
Exactly.
Sure.
So let's.
Sure.
I think we're gonna keep moving up the chain here. Let's sack this. Deal 5 damage whenever Retribution Wand hits the graveyard. Get rid of that. Bring out
That's cute. That's cute.
some bigger.
Okay. Panharmonicon. Yikes.
I kind of have all the big hitters here, so I'm hoping you don't hit your board wipe anytime soon.
Maybe I've been holding on to it. Maybe
yeah,
I've been holding on to it.
Probably are. Let's pass through combat. Let's keep drawing cards.
Oswald Fiddlebender continues to build this board out. I really like that. I really like this.
Let's end. There you go. It's like there was never a board wipe.
Okay, let's do this. Sure.
Okay. Mortal Sun's still a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, shit!
Yep.
Ooh, shoot. I mean, you have to edit that out. Oh, you just told me about that.
I did.
I don't even have a static with this. Oh, no.
Such
Oh,
a good
no.
card.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Immortal Sun, drawing you extra cards. Man.
Alright. Let's do some damage.
Equips 2. 23 trample. All right, you got this one. You got this one. No blocks. You got it. You got it. You got it. Good game. GG's. GG's, man. GG's.
That Immortal Sun snuck up on you, huh? It happens. It happens.
Good game.
Alright. Game number 2. Oswald Fiddlebender versus Vivian, champion of Destroy All Artifacts. Great. Mono green. Let's see how this can hold up. Let's keep this hand. Seems good.
Don't love that.
Elven Bow.
Don't love that. Don't love that.
Battlefield
Elven
game
Bow
two.
1, but give us a little bit of push here
Yeah.
as we try to get green right down your face. We'll see if this works. I've been trying to work with this mono green deck a little bit. I'm a big fan of Vivian. I got to figure out, I think, how to best utilize her. So, like, playing her now,
Okay.
that makes me, I can kind of play it on your turn. I can start playing creatures on your turn
Yeah, that's
because it
pretty
gives all my
strong.
creatures flash.
Right.
But this whole, like, +1, it doesn't give itself protection. So we'll see. Okay, you start off very similar as last time.
Did
Arc. But I like that, kind of making you attack too.
yeah, Oswald doesn't like to attack, but I mean, if he needs to get in there, he'll get in there. Oh crap. Okay.
Ooh, I don't think I needed to play that turn. My bad.
You did
Forgot.
it, but it's fine. Let's
So Vivian, yep, got to use that. That's the whole reason to kind of use that, is it gives you that advantage to play everything at flash. Ooh, some ramp. I like that. More ramp. Very nice. Hopefully you have a whole deck that's all ramp, no action.
that might end up happening. Let's I think I gotta go with this one. Pass it to you. Interesting.
There is wonder in a blade of grass.
Absolute whiff.
Was it? Exile one face down, put the rest. So you can only cast it if it's a creature spell.
Right. I didn't draw any creatures.
There it is. Had a feeling. Can't do anything about that. Unfortunately.
I think my strategy here is to keep you off Oswald.
Off Oswald. Yeah, that does tend to be something that I've noticed people catch on to pretty quick. And it's effective. Like if I cannot cast him, then I'm done for. But let's see if Ugin can
Okay,
help
that's
us out.
very nice. Okay, so what are you so ooh, does he so you're gonna take out something?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I'm gonna take out the big thing.
Yeah, and wow, so you have I have nothing with haste, so that's
Yeah.
tough. Submit 0. And
All things begin and end.
Oh.
I think we gotta take out.
Take out the wand, yeah. Really? Okay.
Oh, I didn't even read this. Shoot! It deals 5 damage to any target.
Any target.
Ugh.
I'll take out the one that's not your commander.
I think I should have taken out one of your ramp spells there.
That was a tough choice. I gotta say.
I see you're pinched on mana though, and I think that
Yeah.
oh, that could have been good. That's all right. Let's see if I can muster through this after that punt.
Let's do white.
Oh my gosh, tapping for double.
I think I'm good on
For
mana.
double.
Let's bring this guy out.
Okay. Some big goofs. Ooh, all that glitters. That's spice.
Let's fight.
Wow, 4, 8. Oh my gosh, 3, 2, 5. I'm just gonna put some creatures on the board. Jeepers. This is not looking good, folks. This is not looking good, folks. 5.5 minutes into game 2. Danny is building out his board set. He's able to keep his artifacts on. I mean, and even, dude, like Oswald, I've been, like, tapped it turn 1, was able to keep it off the battlefield turn, 3 with
I
that
mean,
fight spell, and you still
yeah.
kind of able to keep
Still
going
doing
on.
Stuff, yeah.
I really like this deck, Danny. I really like this a lot.
Thank you.
Foundry Inspector. Oof. Gaining
my God.
life. Oswald comes back down, doesn't even care.
I don't think he needs to be out, but I'm gonna put him out.
Yikes. All right, we will pass Yeepers.
Oof. Okay. I mean, I think you can flash out something.
What was that?
I just remembered that you can flash something out. So,
What was that? What was that?
yeah.
I can flash them out? No.
Yeah. Got an Elder Gargroth or something.
Ah! All right, here we go.
One
Ugin,
of the good
sure.
ones. Yeah. Man, this is a tough choice. If I would do this, let's float this mana. Pop this artifact.
Okay.
Let's force you to do what you gotta do now, I think.
So you're targeting that.
I am.
So I have to flash my creature out now because I'll lose that stat ability.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if that's going to be big enough.
I mean,
We'll see. 7/6. Oh. This isn't good.
let's put this back. So I'm using my Epitaph Golem ability right now. I got two mana floating, so that lets me just put stuff back into my
Okay.
library, which seems like a good way to recycle things. Let's go to combat.
Wow, and that gives this deck. I mean, it's kind of like it. I don't think it needed legs anyway, but it definitely gives it more legs.
A bit more. It could be a little slow, but right now it seems to be working.
Yeah, I think I need to hit a board wipe, and I don't even know if those exist in green.
Oof. Let's see what you got. Well, let's make it pricier for you.
Let's see, I need one mana, then I can cast it, but man, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
going to be enough.
I mean, it would. Oh, you got there.
I don't know, though. I think the math is in your favor here.
Probably. You can hit really hard, but I might be able to kill it still.
We'll do that.
Sure. That makes sense.
Play a bunch of big green goofs. Grow them a little bit, but we'll no attacks. Oh, this 12/12. So if you send it in, I block 2, your biggest 12 and 5. You get in with 9.
So I think I'm just gonna, we'll just.
And you're gonna
pop
take
this.
it down. Oh, and you just with style.
With style.
Excuse me, excuse me, Gear Hulk. Please leave, and I'll give you the blocks. You've earned the damage, Danny. You earned the damage, man.
you go.
And my whole thing was like, all right, I'm gonna fight Oswald, and your deck's gonna suck. That was my thinking. I couldn't have been more wrong.
You know, and
I could not have been more wrong.
It does tend to turn off the deck when that happens, but I think I just had some decent card draw, and Ugin was honestly the all-star there for sure.
You got time for one more to see if this deck can take down 3 of my builds?
Sure.
All right, I'll close.
All right, game number 3, Oswald versus Clothis, God of Destiny. Yikes!
Come on. I needed aggro. Oh, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. I'll keep this. I don't love it, but
gonna
we're
keep
fine.
this hand.
Go. Forest, go. Plains. Okay. Go.
Mitigate a little bit of.
I don't
your
have a play
damage.
till turn 3. I don't love that, but we'll see. I like my turn 3 play a lot.
I think I'm gonna slow roll my Oswald this game. Around.
So foreboding statue gives me some fixing.
Untap it and transform it. Become my face.
Yes.
Ooh.
At
that's
3
pretty
mana
nice.
too?
I like that.
What is going
Start
on?
doing dumb stuff, shall we? Panharmonica. I didn't need to play
All
Oswald.
right, let's go.
I kinda
Let's
just
go. Let's go.
got
Let's
my
go.
good
Let's
thing.
go. Let's go. You
Oh,
know I'm happy, Dan. You know I'm happy when I'm
yeah.
flooding the board. You know this. We'll see if it's gonna stick around though. I'm not
Yeah,
confident.
I see that. Let's.
The fact that you haven't played
Let's
Oswald
flip the
yet
board
and
as
you're
well.
playing these goofs is kind of telling me something. I don't know what it is yet. It's something.
Let's make 2 of these.
Take this up. Two attackers. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. End the turn. Flips it to night.
Interesting. It does.
Which this actually gives me ramp with its +2.
Let's get
Why
2
is this
triggers.
triggered twice? Does Panharmonicon help me? No. Why is this on twice?
No.
Interesting. My Arland trigger, it
What is
looks
that
like
one?
it's twice,
Oh,
yeah.
The Arlen?
So if I cast the
It does
creatures,
look
I'm going
like
to
it's
get
on
2/1/1
twice. It's
counters?
weird.
It definitely should. I agree.
It shouldn't. Let's do this. Let's do this. There it
Block,
is.
block.
Okay.
2 blocks. And then we got to tap this for red. My turn. Red. You got a big old board wipe. My man's got a big old board wipe. What are you doing to me? Or would you have cast it? No, you wouldn't have cast it last turn. 5. Man, this is tough. Okay, let's tick up. Let's cast Clothis. And then let's cast. Let's get in. I guess let's get in for a bunch. And then let's just play this guy, an artifact creature. That seems good. And we will tap this for red. I have a feeling it's not going to live long, and end the turn. Ooh, Clothis is turned on.
He is turned on.
I have a feeling, though, we ain't going to be around long, Danny. I have a feeling. Oh, Ugin? All 3 games makes an appearance. I like this. Sure. Destroys my questing beast. Bolts the Arlen. Sure.
Got a lightning bolt out there.
This makes me less confident you have a board wipe.
I don't have a board wipe. Two bolts. Thanks, Ugin.
So let's take a lightning bolt. Do some damage, gain some life. Add green. Hiya. Hiya.
What?
And we'll go 5/5, and then we'll send
Really
both
use
these
that
at
board
Ugin.
wipe now.
And go.
Sure. Let's block here.
Now, this is the only game you didn't play, Oswald.
Correct. I didn't feel like I needed to, but I was wrong.
He said, but.
So I was wrong. It's
Lightning
fine.
bolt.
Yep.
Let's add red. Let's add a Vorinclex. Let's go to combat.
Okay.
Let's attack.
Let's.
Hiya! What are you trying? What are you trying to do?
I was trying to Chaos Wand you. It's 4 mana to do that. I only have 3. 6, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's a lot of damage.
You done? I get you?
I think I'm still dead, but we'll block here. I think so.
Okay. At least I got one, man. At least I got one. Good game.
Oh man, good game. So, reflecting on that, going back, the mistake was not playing Oswald Fiddlebender. There you go.
You are appreciated. You are loved. Thank you for hanging out. This is Dan, checking Danny and I out. See you next week.